hungry.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in the beauty hood. What a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Come as you are, to jam on the dude's neighborhood. Come as you are, to jam on the dude's neighborhood. Come as you are, to jam on the dude's neighborhood. Won't you please? Won't you please? Why don't you be mine?
Hello all, welcome again to another episode of Jammin' Dude's Neighborhood. Welcome, I'm here, kick back, have a drink with me, and relax. I've missed you, but of course you know that the one thing that is always going to bring me out of the woodwork is a brand new album from Dream Theater. I was going to log on with an episode kind of to go against all the naysayers of Star Wars The Force Awakens, but I just didn't want to get involved in that negativity. I am just too laid back for that. I want to talk about things I'm loving. So right now, I'm loving the new Dream Theater album. It's their latest, it's a rock opera, and I don't use the term rock opera lightly. Rock opera gets bantered about as a replacement term for a concept album, because most rock operas, what they really are is their concept albums, but they like to make them sound really pretentious by calling them rock operas. But with Dream Theater's new album, The Astonishing, which I haven't even spun 5 times yet like I'm prone to do, this is a lot to digest. This is 2 discs, over 2 hours worth of music, and there are various repeating themes, every character having their own anthem or theme, as it were. And the album hops around a lot, and yet still stays on course. But there's not too much on this album that you could pick out as being a standalone song that you can play on its own. In that way, it is very much like a real opera. It's structured like a real opera. There's dialogue like a real opera. There's musical themes to the dialogue like a rock opera. It tends to, while it has repeating themes and character themes, it tends to hop around a lot with maybe only a couple of parts standing on their own separate from the whole piece, like an opera. So I have to really give Dream Theater props, and I had to log on right away just to say that even though I have not fully digested this album yet, how many bands do you know of 30 years into their career that will take this kind of risk? Dream Theater did not go by the numbers this time around. It's astonishing to me, I hate to use that, but it does kind of fit, that Dream Theater would really push themselves at this stage in their career. With the musical climate being what it is out there, it seems like the entire marketplace is geared toward allowing artists, once they have an established fan base, to play it safe and simply maintain that fan base. Dream Theater did not do that here. It's a big risk. They took a big risk that their audience would accept them, and it appears from the reactions online as of right now that they were right. But how much replayability is this album really going to have? I think that this album right now as it stands is eventually going to become one of the all-time Dream Theater greats. And even though it's happening at a later stage in their career, do you know what this really reminds me of? Is A Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, which is Genesis' masterpiece double album from 1974. But you have to remember that at that time, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, like The Astonishing, was a pretty big risk, because Genesis was just starting to, after 4 or 5 albums, depending on if you want to count the first one, they had started to become commercially viable, because maybe not in the United States so much, but they did have their first single, their first charting single with I Know What I Like from Selling England by the Pound. And so now they were starting to gain a little bit of commercial attention in England. So how would they follow that up? Would they play it safe? They could have easily released an album's worth of things of that nature. But what they did was they went in and recorded their magnum opus, a 2-album concept album, which was very surreal, took a lot of people by surprise. Now we have come to recognize A Lamb Lies Down on Broadway as being one of Genesis's great pieces of work. But at that time, it took a lot of people off guard. And when they went out on tour, very much like what Dream Theater is doing for The Astonishing, they played the entire concept album from start to finish. And on some of the early shows, this was to an audience that had never even heard the material. Now, Dream Theater isn't quite going that far, but again, this is a big risk. They're going out on tour and they're playing this entire rock opera with its huge scope and its visually stunning presentation, and you risk the possibility of alienating fans that have been with you a long time and are maybe just not digging the new material. But they're moving forward, and I have to say that I am going to be there, and I really admire them, and I have to be honest, I don't know how I feel about this yet. I haven't really had a chance to let it sink in. It's deep, it's dense, which is normally the earmarks for things that I am going to absolutely adore. But I'm not sure, because of the lack of standalone songs, I'm not sure how much replayability this album has. For those of you who are familiar with Pain of Salvation, I'm reminded a little bit of their concept album B, which I think is a masterpiece of performance art and artwork, and I think it's one of the most amazing things that Pain of Salvation has ever done. But I don't know that I reach for it whenever I want to play a Pain of Salvation album, because you have to get involved in the concept. You almost need to buy out the time to listen to the entire concept, because the songs don't really stand alone as their own pieces, maybe with a couple of exceptions. So I'm wondering how much replayability The Astonishing is going to have. But I can't say enough that everybody should really take the time to drink this in. I know I'm going to. And whatever you do, don't miss out on the show. Because I have a feeling that these shows are going to become legendary. I want you all to think about this for a second. This, I promise you right now, this is never going to happen again. They will never play The Astonishing all the way through from start to finish again. I'm going to make that prediction right now. So don't miss out on these shows, because you'll be missing out on something legendary. I will be there, second row in Seattle, May 11th, and I couldn't be more excited. It's one of the things I'm looking forward to. Next weekend, I'm going to be attending a show in Portland by the Musical Box. Speaking of Genesis, they're doing their Selling England by the Pound set down there at Revolution Hall. So I'll be hanging out in Portland today, so on next Thursday. So, and then I'm taking a sabbatical for the weekend. So I need to get unplugged, man. I've been working hard and trying to listen to all this incredible music that's coming out. But I've missed you all, and I welcome your comments and your feedback. And hello to all the guys at work, too, who have been watching my show. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, John. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, anybody who's been tuning in from work. And I'll see you guys next time on Jammin' Dude's Neighborhood.